Hello guys! So it's been a while since any of you saw me, Tasha from the Scruffy Fam. So yeah, things have been a little bit crazy since having the twins and getting them home and everything. And our yard and gardens are in pretty sad state. We have a lot of weeds, we have a lot of amending that we need to do. I'm not going to be planting anything for fall, it's already too cold and too late. Okay, go play on the side. However, I do have a bunch of garlic that I want to get planted, and garlic is a really heavy feeder, so I have to amend these beds big time. So, let's get some stuff done. It's finally warmed up. It was like 30 degrees as the high yesterday, so I think we've got about a week coming of pretty decent weather in like the 50s, maybe high 40s, before the real cold weather gets here. So I want to get as much of this done as I can so that we're set up for next year so we can start bright and early in the spring. And now we are amending our beds. So this bed here is the one that I'm going to be putting the garlic into. This is where we had the potatoes, and not entirely sure what's going to go in the rest of this bed in the spring and summer. But I'm going to be planting a strip of it with all of our garlic because they are full sun. So we want to put another bed here that's going to be primarily from our compost pile, and then that bed there to be our potato bed. And we want to have probably like a 5x5 or 4x4, something like that. We want the whole thing, but we want the whole thing to be all potatoes. So what we're doing here, like I said, this is the bed that I planted corn, but every single corn kernel got dug up or eaten by something. And so then we had potatoes over here and then here. And so what we noticed was one thing with this soil is it's pretty healthy soil, but it's really compacted. So I know there's a lot of people that say that you don't want to till your soil because it actually reduces the microbes that create healthy soil and help get nutrients and water to the roots. So long term we will not be tilling any of these beds. However, because they were so compacted, we need to get a ton of compost on these. We need to dig it in, and I also have some bone meal that I'm going to be digging in where I put the garlic, just to give them some extra nutrients. But I just really wanted to improve the quality of the soil because it's really heavy and dense, and it just kind of turns into clay. So we're going to be mixing in a whole bunch of our chicken manure and veggie scrap compost. I did also, this is how you know you're an adult, is when you're excited about getting a mulching leaf vacuum. I haven't gotten to use it yet, obviously, because we have our twins home. However, I am super excited to go around. We have that huge mulberry tree. As you can see, we have this big tree here behind me. We've got leaves all over our property, and I'm not planning on sucking up all of them because I know you want to protect like butterfly and moth reproduction. However, I'm going to suck up some of them, mulch them down, and I don't know if I'm going to have them as like a mulch on the beds or if I'm going to chuck them in the compost pile. But either way, I'm really excited. It's starting to get late. Joe has to go teach class, and it's going to get cold tonight. Tomorrow's supposed to be a lot nicer. So tomorrow will be a great day to get out here and actually mix in the compost into the beds now that we kind of have it broken up. So yeah, I pulled a bunch of the weeds that took up residence when I was too pregnant and too postpartum to come out here and really do anything with the garden. So yeah, we will see you guys probably tomorrow when we get to actually amend the beds with compost. Alright guys, so like I said, we are back out here. It's the next morning, and I'm going to focus on amending the garlic bed first because I really want to get that planted. And then if we still have time, then I will amend the spring bed. So here we have one of our buckets of compost. If you haven't seen our compost video that talks about how we make this, we'll go ahead and link that down below. You can go check that out. Really our secret ingredient is these guys. They are our compost magic. They're happily eating away this morning. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to dump this bucket of compost onto the bed, and then kind of stir it in. And then once that's all nice and mixed in, I might go use our second bucket. Kind of depends on how far this bucket goes. We've been kind of taking from it as we go, so looking at them side by side, we might need more. But anyway, once we're done with the compost, I'm going to go get the bone meal, and I'm going to spread that over the area where we're going to be growing our garlic. And then hopefully we'll get our garlic in the ground today, and that would be awesome. So let's go get started. Hey, babe. Putting compost in their garden bed. We need another bucket.
How you doing, Mama?
Good.
What do you got going on here?
So one bucket of compost looks a lot bigger in the bucket than it does on the ground. Kind of stirring some of it in real quick to see how much more we need.
Working on.
You can already tell that the texture is a lot better. It's not as like clay-ish and like stuck together as it was. It's a lot looser.
Yeah, and it's been pretty cold here. We definitely had freezing last night. The chicken's water froze.
Yeah.
And it's been pretty cold, so
yeah,
it is.
Some of these clumps are just frozen dirt.
Yeah, so it is definitely time for garlic. So that's what we're doing today, just getting the bed ready, and gonna add another bucket of compost here and get going. While Mom is out working on the beds, I get to hang out with the twins.
Alright, so I have finished digging in the compost into this bed. We brought the other bucket over, but I think we're going to save it for the spring bed because that one is actually, the soil level is a lot lower than I want it to be. So I really want to build that one up with a lot of compost. And that one's probably going to be planted much more intensively than this one. So I think I'm going to leave this one for now at one bucket of compost. We have our compost pile still going, so I can always come back and like side dress more or do a compost tea or something like that if we need more nutrients later on. And I do know that garlic needs to be fed in the spring also, so we have to do that anyway. So I'm kind of thinking that we're just going to go with this and probably add in some more compost on the potato side before we plant those in the spring and save the rest of our compost for the spring bed. And one other thing that I really wanted to give Joe a shout out for, he's actually inside taking care of the twins right now. He's on point for them. Twins is not for the faint of heart. It's very difficult to do by yourself, especially if they are both hungry, both tired, or both need a diaper change at the same time. They're not very patient. So many thanks to him for letting me come out here and, you know, get some of this outside stuff done. Yeah, twins is rough, guys. If you know any twin parents, like, give them some extra love today, because I don't care how old their twins are, they probably need it. Alright, that being said, I want to go get the bone meal and we're going to add that in here and get going on our garlic. Alright, so I wanted to talk for a quick second about the kinds of garlic that I'm planting. So I am growing a hardneck variety. This one's called Music. I got this from Fruition Seeds. And hardneck varieties, as you can see, have a hard neck, and they grow one ring of big garlic cloves around a center stalk. Now they're supposed to be better for my northern climate here in South Wisconsin. So the hardneck varieties will send up a scape in the spring, which can be harvested and used like garlic. It just won't be quite as intense in flavor, but it'll be kind of a nice in-between until our cloves are actually ready to harvest, which should be about July. The other variety that I'm growing is a soft neck, and this is the kind that you see my garden helpers. Say hi, garden helpers.
Hi, garden helpers. Hi.
Can you guys go play? Yeah. The soft neck varieties are the kind that you see in the grocery stores. So the tops kind of bend over, and they have a couple different layers of cloves around the bulb. Now I do want to disclaimer that I am by no means a garden expert. I am definitely not a garlic expert. This is actually my first year growing garlic. So really this is kind of an experiment. We're gonna try it out. I've heard bone meal because it's high in phosphorus, which is good for bulb development. And I've mostly heard hardneck for my region, but I figure I'll try softneck, why not? Yeah, so let me show you how I'm planting these. Alright, so here you see these are the hardneck bulbs that I got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 15 hardneck bulbs. You can see these are all, like here's my hand for comparison. These are all a pretty decent size. And then over here is our softneck bulbs. So technically there's 18 of these, but as you can see, like 3, 4, 5 of them are smaller. I'm gonna go ahead and plant them anyway because what the heck, this is an experiment if I have space. Once I start putting these in the ground, we'll see how we're doing for space. But kind of my impressions right off the bat are that I'm digging the hardneck. They're supposed to have a more complex flavor, but even just like what you get for your money. I mean, this was 3 bulbs that I had ordered. And I mean, you can imagine if you're cooking with these bulbs and you pull one of those off, I mean, that's a pretty decent size amount of garlic for your meal. And you know, we're usually cooking for, 4 or 5 people. So, you know, we go through a lot of garlic. Whereas these, I feel like you would need, you know, like half a bulb to get a decent amount of garlic for your food. So I'm kind of rooting for the hardneck right now, but you know, we'll put these in the ground and we'll see what happens over the next couple months. And then over here we've got the ones that were just a little bit too small, you know, like some of these softneck ones. Oops, where'd it go? There it is. Like some of these softneck ones are just so tiny. I mean, like it's almost not even worth peeling to eat. Maybe I'm just being snobby. Oh, this one is the smallest hardneck one. I could plant it, but I did leave it out because I'm curious about the flavor. I've never tried the music garlic before. So we are going to cook that up in something and kind of see if we like the flavor. And then one other thing I wanted to note, I have heard that you're supposed to try to leave some of these papers on. However, this one, like just the paper popped right off. I'm still gonna go ahead and plant it because, as I said, this is an experiment. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna plant these. So this here is where the roots will come out, and then this is where they're gonna grow their greens. So we want to plant this orientation with the root side down so that they can actually plant well, or so that they can actually grow well. And so I'm gonna start about yay. So I'm gonna start here. I'm just gonna push it down into the ground a couple inches, and I'm gonna be doing this probably like 3 or 4 inches apart. I know Emma Gardner was talking about how he's had his spacing down, I think like 2.5 inches. I'm not 100% sure what variety he's using. If it was a soft neck, that would make sense because they get smaller. They don't get quite as big. But a lot of the other places I've heard have said kind of this wider spacing. So I'm going to err on the side of caution, this being, you know, our first time really doing this thing. So then what I'm going to do when all of these guys are in the ground is I'm going to come back and I'm going to mulch it pretty heavily. I'm going to do probably like 3 inches or so of straw mulch over the top. Just to make sure that if these guys, you know, if it is too early, because we do have some warmer weather coming up, if they sprout their green tops too early, you know, you just don't want it to get taken out by frost. So I'll protect these guys. All right, so that actually didn't take up as much space as I thought. So the hope is to actually keep some of these bulbs as seed for next year so that we don't need to purchase more. Although I might get some different varieties just to kind of try out flavor and see if any of them grow better than others. But, you know, over time we will continue to expand how much we're planting and then have it just be with all of our own seed. So I'm pretty excited. I'm going to get over here I have a little bit of a gap here so that I kind of know, theoretically, where each one was planted. Alright, so we're going to start these guys over here. I'm going to put these guys a little bit closer together because they were not nearly as big of a bulb. And then, so another thing we're going to do once this is all done, the mulch and everything, we have these T-posts here on the inside of the beds. And you can see there's chicken wire over there we took off so that we could make this whole process a little bit easier for us. What we will be doing is putting the chicken wire back on because, as I said before, squirrels are jerks, and I would be really, really upset if they came in and stole all of my seed garlic. And actually just that one little piece of chicken wire did pretty well at keeping them out of our potatoes. I might even throw bird netting over the top, which guaranteed the safety of our spring garden. We'll see. So one thing that we want to do is set this bed up kind of like our other one, where the T-posts are on the outside. Just makes it a lot easier. We don't lose any like garden space. Like in this bed, you know, with the T-posts here, when you have the chicken wire coming like in this far, we had weeds growing here, you lose this growing space. It's just not optimal if you want to plant a little bit more intensely like we tend to. So here's our last soft neck bulb. Alright, so here's our soft neck patch, and then right over here is our hard neck patch. So everything is covered up. We're gonna go throw down a thick layer of mulch, and also hopefully the mulch will keep the squirrels and chipmunks out of it, because I'm really starting to dislike the varmint. Alright, so here we have our garlic patch nice and covered with mulch. It's funny, you can see the scale of this bed and how little space this took up. I'm really surprised by that, but pleasantly so, because once we have a potato bed, this whole thing can become garlic. That's going to be amazing. Alright, so we don't have any rain in the forecast until the first weekend of November. So I'm going to go ahead and water these guys in really nice and deep. I'm going to stick with our normal deep watering. So it's just going to be like once a week. We'll come out here and hit these guys up with some water if we haven't had any rain. And eventually the snow and everything will take care of that for us. So, got our handy dandy watering can. And we have more straw if we need to come out. Like if it suddenly drops really, really cold really quickly, we can always come out and cover this with some more straw if we need to. It's about 3 inches dry, probably shrunk down a little bit now that it's been watered, but should be fine. And then if I see any spots that any vermin have tried to attack, then we will shore that up also. Okay, now I just have to get our chicken wire back on and we are all done. If you want to hear about this topic on The Real Experts, and my gardener has a really great video, and also Fruition Seeds has an entire course that you can go and learn all about planting garlic, and they're specific to northern regions, so that's great for me or anyone else living up here in the cold frigid north. Alright guys, we are all set. Everything's put away, which admittedly is a struggle for me. And we're all done with our project for today. So it's lunchtime now, it's starting to warm up. Get a little hot. Ooh, look at that hair. So we are gonna head in and get some lunch, get these guys down for a rest time. And I'm sure I have to nurse at least one twin. Yes, love. You guys ready to go get lunch?
No!
They're like playing outside. Alright, well I'm gonna go wrangle these guys up and we'll catch you guys later. Thanks, bye. And remember guys, if you like what you saw, you want to come along with us, check out how these experiments go, see more cute kids and chickens, then definitely subscribe to our channel, follow us on Instagram. The Scruffy Fam is our main Instagram profile, and then I am the Scruffy Mama. and we will catch you guys later. Thanks for coming with us today. Have a good day. Bye.